All right, let's talk about a toolkit that's over 2,000 years old, but it might just be the answer to a crisis we're facing right now. To really get why this matters, we got to start with some pretty tough numbers. Just let these sink in for a second.
Okay, first up, in the US, the suicide rate for men is 4 times higher than it is for women. I mean, just think about that, 4 times.
And get this, 15% of men say they have zero close friends. Zero. And what's wild is that number's been going up pretty much every year since 1990. And, this isn't just an American problem. When you zoom out and look at the whole world, men make up a shocking 75% of all suicides. 75%. That's huge. Look, these aren't just numbers on a screen, right? These are alarm bells screaming that something is deeply wrong. So, what is going on here? Well, all of this points to a crisis, a very real crisis in men's mental health. And when you dig into the research, it really boils down to two big things: a crushing sense of loneliness and, honestly, a major reluctance to reach out for help when things get tough. Psychologists have this term for it. They call it the man box. It's like this invisible set of rules about what it means to be a man, Be tough. Don't show your feelings. Be the breadwinner no matter what. But here's the crazy part, the real paradox. The research is super clear that the more a guy tries to live inside that box, the higher his risk for depression and suicide becomes. So the very things we've been told are strength are actually turning into these massive vulnerabilities.
So when you hear the word Stoic, what comes to mind? Probably that exact same man box idea, right? The whole stiff upper lip, bottle it all up, just be a man thing. But what if I told you that's a huge misunderstanding, and that the real, ancient philosophy of Stoicism isn't the problem? It might actually be the solution.
Yeah, this completely flips the script. We think Stoic means emotional suppression, but the reality is emotional resilience. We think it means toughing it out all by yourself when it's really about having courageous honesty. It's not about being numb. It's about being free from the emotions that destroy you. And it's definitely not about isolation. It's all about our connection and our duty to other people.
And this is maybe the most important takeaway. The whole point of Stoicism was never to feel nothing. It wasn't about apathy. The ancient Stoics were chasing a state they called apatheia. Now, that's a Greek word, and it doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're free from the grip of destructive emotions, like blind rage or crippling despair, so that you can feel what you need to feel and still act with courage and a clear head. Okay, that sounds great, right? But how do you actually do that? How do you get there? Well, it all starts with what is probably the most practical, most powerful tool in the entire Stoic toolkit. So there was this Stoic philosopher, Epictetus. And what's amazing is that he spent part of his life as a slave. And from that experience, he came up with this absolutely brilliant idea. He called it the Dichotomy of Control. And it's basically a super simple but powerful way to filter everything that happens to you. Think of it like this. You've got two buckets. In the first bucket, you put everything that's actually in your control. This is your internal world, your opinions, your choices, how much effort you put in. Then, in the second bucket, you put everything else, literally everything you can't control. Other people's opinions of you, your reputation, the stock market, the weather, you name it. And the Stoics had this huge insight. Almost all of our anxiety, all of our frustration, it comes from one simple mistake. We spend our energy trying to control what's in that second bucket. Now, this might just sound like some nice, fuzzy, philosophical idea, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. It turns out this 2,000-year-old concept is the actual bedrock for one of the most effective science-backed therapies we use today. And this quote from Epictetus just nails it. He said, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views which they take of them." It's not the thing that happens to you, losing your job, a breakup, whatever, that causes the pain. It's the story you tell yourself about it. It's your judgment that it's a catastrophe. The line from ancient wisdom to modern science here is it's a straight line. It's incredible. So around 100 AD, Epictetus is teaching this stuff. Fast forward nearly 2,000 years to the 1950s, a psychologist named Albert Ellis is reading Epictetus and has this aha moment. He takes that exact principle, that our judgments cause our suffering, and he builds a whole new kind of therapy around it. We call it cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. And today, CBT is the gold standard for treating anxiety and depression. So yeah,
This isn't just ancient philosophy, it's been proven by modern science. All right, so theory is great, but let's make this real. Let's pull this out of the history books and actually put it to use. In fact, we can try it out right now, you and me. We're going to run what's called a control audit. It's super simple. Just take a second and think of one thing that's stressing you out right now. Doesn't have to be huge, just anything that's causing you some anxiety. Got something? Okay, now, step 2. Just imagine drawing a line down the middle of a piece of paper. On the left side, list everything about that situation you can actually control. I'm talking your effort, your communication, your next move. Now, on the right side, list everything you can't control. The final outcome, how the other person reacts, what they think, all that stuff. Got it? Now for the most important part. Take that whole uncontrollable list on the right and just mentally cross it all out. Just decide right now to shift all of your focus and all of your energy only onto the items on your controllable list. That's it. That's the practice.
Because really, that's the whole game. This is the big lesson from the Stoics. Real power isn't about changing the world around you. It's about owning the one thing you can always control, your response. It's that inner freedom to choose how you react, no matter what life throws at you. So the only question left is, what are you going to choose?